Hi, everyone. It's Lindsay Baker, and I am so excited because today is the first show of Rescue Stories, my new show on Jane Unchained. I am so excited to do this. And to top things off, I have the most amazing activist on the show today, Patty Shenker. Let me just bring up her. Patty here. Patty, thank you so much for being on. You don't know how much.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay.
It means so much to me because I'm launching the show and I have you on, and I think you are one of the most extraordinary activists I have ever met. I just wanted to go over, oh, where is it now? Jane's going to yell at me for not having it ready. Patty, tell us a little, no, here we go. Patty Shenker's animal
advocacy. There are so many rescuers out there that do so much more work than me, and I hope you can have them all on because they do it every day. I do not do it every day. So God bless all the rescuers everywhere.
Patty, I totally understand but we need to talk about you tonight. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this right now. And it says that Patty Shenker's animal advocacy really began when she was in the 70s. She was a vegetarian, and then you became vegan, right? So you've been doing animal activism for how long?
50 years. In January of 1970, I became a vegetarian and I never ate an animal again. And it took me a while to go vegan, but I finally realized that the same violence and cruelty and murder was in our dairy and in eggs.
Right.
So I finally gave it up.
And
honey.
And why don't we do this? Why don't you just talk a little bit, just do a quick history of everything that you've done. Just do a quick little summary. It's going to
go. Okay. I feel that obviously becoming a vegetarian in 1970 was my big step into animals. I had always loved animals. I remember as a kid, a little poodle, my friend's little poodle bit me, and I cried and cried, please don't do anything with this dog. He got scared. Please don't send him back or have him killed. So I always had a spot in my heart for animals. And, you know, when you become an adult, you can do what you want. And I realized right away that I wanted to change my diet and not eat animals because, as I say, peace begins on your plate. It's what we do every day that we either are being peaceful or seriously, we are not. And most people don't think of peace. They don't bring animals into that equation. And I think we need to do that. We must do that. Look at what has happened to this world globally because of eating animals. So I ask people to stop being part of it. Refuse to participate is my new hashtag. Please refuse to participate in it. It's such abject cruelty. And it's terrible for the environment. It's terrible for our health. It's terrible for the world. Food justice. There are so many reasons to do it. And it's really so easy now. I look back, I didn't have a veggie burger or a veggie hot dog for like 20 years. I mean, it's so easy now. It's just do it. You know, you can do it now. There's all this amazing, delicious vegan food. And it's just time we all do that. So
well, I think it's really starting to change now. But you are back in the day. You were a pioneer, and I want to go through some of the things that you've been up to. So let's start with this. You coined the phrase "peace begins on your plate."
Yes, as Jane always says it, and she always credits me. Thank you, Jane. I'm so glad you like my slogan. And I see it being used a lot, and I'm thrilled. I'm just thrilled.
Well, it says it all, doesn't it?
I think it does, yes.
I think, and that's what you were just saying about people have to make that connection between, you know, you be a compassionate person that loves the planet, then you can't eat animals, period. But let's keep going on you, Patty. You were instrumental in starting Animal Acres Farm Sanctuary, which is now Farm Sanctuary. Talk about that for a sec, if you would.
Well, yes, I after becoming a vegetarian, that was before PETA was started. before any farmed animal sanctuaries were around. But the first one came around, Farm Sanctuary, and I felt like I found my people. And I became a member. I ended up being good friends with Jean and Lori, and did a couple of rescues with them. And we dreamed about having a farm animal sanctuary outside of Los Angeles, because the other two sanctuaries are kind of like, out in the woods sort of thing. Orland was far away from everything except Chico, which there was a college there, and the Watkins Glen, which is such a beautiful farm, but it's in upstate New York. So we wanted one by the city, by a big city, where we could get a lot of good people to work for us, where we could get volunteers easier, where we could have celebrities come and help us out, and where we could get media probably more than in further out places. So
it happened.
This was our dream, and it happened, and I still think it's probably the best thing, besides not eating them anymore. But to have started that, I think, was the best thing I've done for animals.
That's amazing, Patty. Why don't you
they continue to be rescued. They continue to educate and be ambassadors, and to teach people that these animals are sentient beings. They're very much like our dogs. And people are so disconnected. They don't meet these animals anymore. And it's really a shame, because they're really beautiful, loving animals who deserve better than what most of them get.
That's so true. And these sanctuaries make it easy for people to come and see the animals, like you say, make that connection again with them. So sanctuaries are so important. And they're important for education and so many other things. I was going to just say that, moving on a little bit here, because we got a lot to cover. I want to go through your background, and then we have some videos. So you also helped with a horse and burro sanctuary setting up. So give us a little short synopsis on that one, if you don't mind.
Well, actually, Jane and I became friends, I think, because of animal activism, but because of a particular horse rescue. And then things went badly with that horse rescue, and I ended up getting all the horses. And luckily, this woman, Barbara Clark, may she rest in peace, called me. She knew that I had been given the custody of all these horses, and said, I will help you. I will take care of them all if you can get me some land. So I ended up buying like 1,000 acres, I think it is, up near Reno, but unfortunately on California side, where there are property taxes. But it's a beautiful place. It continues on. And and what's happening to the wild horses is really criminal. In every country, what we are doing to our wildlife is criminal, and we will pay a high price for it. And these wild horses and burros and so many other wildlife are being killed to satisfy gas, oil, and ranchers. They claim the horses are starving. They're not starving. They don't want them on the land. They want the cows. They want what they call cattle, which I hate that word. But so we really have to stop that. It's happening in Australia too. They're trying to kill off all the brumbies, which are wild horses. And I keep saying, that's why I went to Australia. I went to see your wildlife. I didn't go to see city wildlife. I can see that anywhere, So, so it's really just such a shame. What we're doing to our planet and to
look at the horses in that are being raced now at the track still. It's incredible. How can that be happening at a time when it's not what's the word, essential business? How is horse racing essential? I'm not.
It isn't. It's obviously, it's a very corrupt industry, and I'm sure they have big connections. And you know what? It was very foolish for them to continue on. And I'm sure some of them are going to get sick. And that's really not good.
Yeah. I just hope everyone is okay. But the horse is dying. That's a whole other, we can do that another time. That's a whole other.
The horses die, as you know, weekly on these tracks. Weekly.
Yes.
And that's not even counting all the bred horses that just go to slaughter because they never even make it to the racetrack. So that's a whole nother, it's another horrible.
That's your next time on the show, Patty.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going on you. So then you felt that it was important to have legislation passed, and you wanted to work with young lawyers. Am I correct? Or tell me if I'm wrong on that one.
Well, both of my parents were lawyers, so I have always known that laws, you can save a lot of animals, but until you get laws, you can't save most of them or near the number that you can when there are laws. We need laws for animals.
Yes.
So I financially helped to start, or basically, I think I was the only one at the beginning, the Rutgers Animal Rights Law Clinic, which was at Rutgers University in New Jersey. And it was run by Gary Francione and Anna Charlton. And because I wanted more kids who really care about animals to become lawyers, but also to be able to help the animals with laws.
Yeah.
And taking legal action and stuff. And that's, it's a big part. And that's where Animal Rescue Corps gets in here, because all their raids that we did, that I did with them and otherwise, except for the one at First Nation where they invited us, were all legal raids with the law enforcement behind us.
And we're going to show video on that in a moment, but I just want to tell you, you've got a lot of fans coming on here. Amira St. John's, she says, so nice to see the person who coined the phrase, peace begins on our plate. Say it all the time. Thank you, Patty Shenker. And then Tom Vincelli, things take time. It took 25 years to get a ban on elephant acts. We want to cut that down, Tom. And then, Amira's asking who is the beautiful puppy, I think it is with Patty. It says Pippin, but Poopin. I'm sorry, I make mistakes all the time, Amira. I'm not making fun of you, but who's your puppy with you? They want to know.
You mean right now?
Yeah, you had a little dog. I saw his head.
Oh, I think that was Napoleon.
You have a lot of them running around there.
He's left the room now, but hold on. Look at my little Daisy.
Oh, that's my fave. That's my little baby. He's so cute.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love him.
And you did quite a bit of work with the spay and neuter clinics, I see, in the 90s in South Central. Do you want to just address that for a little bit?
I would love to, because this is something that just a few of us activists put together, including the late Bill Dyer, the late great Bill Dyer, a dear friend and incredible activist. We decided South Central was putting down the most dogs. So we decided to target that area. And what we did was we offered free spay and neuter, but we also offered free transportation. So we did all. We'd pick them up, we'd take them to the vet, we'd get them fixed, and we'd bring them home later that day.
Wow.
And we did over 100. And, when you think about all of the dogs and cats, we did cats too, that were not born because we spayed and neutered, the lives that we've saved. I see that as saving lives, because as we know, there are too many dogs and cats, and too many of them are killed just because they don't have a home. They can't find a home.
Well,
and
if you think about
thing that's
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you didn't cut me off.
Okay. I was just going to say, I agree with you, thinking if you think about how many animals, how many dogs, how many litters a dog has in their lifetime, even if it's a short lifetime. Exponentially, you're saving so many lives. Spay and neuter is the answer for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My saying for that is spay and neuter makes them cuter.
Oh, I love that. I wonder, are you moving around anything? Do you hear that noise in there? That could be a bad connection because you almost went off for a
No,
moment.
I'm not. I'm moving my body a little bit, but I'm not moving the phone at all.
You don't hear the popping? I hope it goes away.
I do hear the popping. I don't know what that is.
Damn.
You're the expert here.
That's it. Okay, well, I'll try it. Why don't we go to, let me see here what I got. I've got some videos of you speaking. Let's.
E.O. Wilson wrote, the creation of diversity came slow and hard. 3 billion years of evolution to start the profusion of animals that occupy the seas. Another 350 million years to assemble the rainforests in which half or more of the species on Earth live now. When you think about how long it took to make Earth's living diversity, and then realize how very quickly we humans are destroying it, we should all be concerned and outraged. To name just a few of the critically endangered species, there are now only 3 northern white rhinos, an estimated 80 vaquitas, 80 panthers, 130 California condors, 500 grizzly bears, 1,000 giant pandas, 3,500 tigers, 7,000 cheetahs, 30,000 lions, 41,000 Asian elephants, 107,000 gorillas, and 150,000 chimpanzees, just to name a few, a very few. Meanwhile, the human population has surpassed 7 billion. Some more disconcerting facts. There are more tigers in the United States than there are in the wild. Rhino horn is now worth more than gold. 30,000 species per year, or 3 species per hour, are being driven to extinction. 10% of Earth's wilderness has been wiped out in the last 20 years. Earth's wild vertebrate population, which comprise of mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish, has declined by 52%.
Wow, Patty, that's pretty dire.
It is pretty dire, and I have to say that was a couple of years ago, at least 2 or 3 years ago. I think there are like now about 3 vaquitas, which are little dolphins in the Gulf of Mexico.
I'm going to move my computer and see if it's on my end, the popping. I don't know. Do you hear it? Because the audience has said they hear it too.
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's me, but.
I think it stopped when I moved. No,
no, it didn't. I still hear it. Here's my little old pit bull. Can you see her?
I'm going to go down to another room here, folks. This is live video, and we apologize for trying to not have that annoying sound because we can't stay on with that. The only other thing I can think of is headphones. Maybe we should go off and come back on. Let's do that. Let's try that. So we'll be right back.
All right. I'm just going to leave it on.